In this instructional video, we will be looking at the steps involved in creating PDFs and exporting PDFs to different formats. Let's begin with how to create PDFs. The first thing we do is click on Tools on the tabs bar on the landing page. Then we click on the Create PDF icon. Adobe Acrobat Pro provides several formats you can create a PDF from. We are going to look at the 5 formats displayed here. 1. Single file. 2. Multiple files. 3. Scanner. 4. Web page. And 5. Blank page. Let's start with creating a PDF from a single page. We click on Single File first, and then click either the file icon or the label Select a File. After selecting Select a File, the Open File dialog box pops up, and we select the single Word file, in this case, that we want to create as a PDF file, then click Open. Now we see a thumbnail of the file we've selected and the name of the file back in the Adobe Acrobat workspace. If we selected the wrong file in error, we can also change the file by clicking on Change File. Once we're OK with the file we've selected, click on Create. At this point, a status bar appears on the bottom right corner to give you the progress on creating your Word file into a PDF file. The single Word file is now a PDF document, which we see in the Adobe Acrobat Pro document pane. Click File and Save As to save your newly created PDF document. Save the document to the folder or location on your computer. You can also restrict editing to your PDF document at this point by clicking on the Restrict Editing box, but we will explore how to protect PDFs in another video. Now let's look at how to create a PDF from multiple files. First, click on the Multiple Files option, and we see further options for creating multiple files. We can combine files, which means creating one single file from multiple files. The second option is to create multiple PDF files, where we can convert multiple files into PDFs all at the same time. And the third option is create PDF portfolio, where we can aggregate and organize multiple types of files into one PDF package. But let's go back to the first option for creating multiple files, combine files. So with combine files selected, we can click Next. But before we click Next, I just want to bring your attention to the tool pane on the right, where you see all the tools lined up. Just a note that you can also click on the Combine Files icon to continue with the same steps we're going to go through now. As I pointed out just before, the Combine Files selection from within the Create PDF tools will take you to the same workspace as selecting the tool Combine Files from the beginning. It's the same interface and the same steps. Here, Adobe Acrobat Pro gives us 3 options to add files that we would like to create as one single PDF file. We can drag and drop files to the workspace, or add files by clicking on the Add Files button, or open Add Open Files. I have 2 open files, as you can see here in the tabs bar, so I'm going to click on Add Open Files. Once you click on Add Files, a window with the files to be added pops up. Double check that you've added the correct files. Once you've done so, click on Add Files. The files that you want to combine now appear as thumbnails, and again you have the option to add more files or even remove if you wanted. Once you have all the files you want to combine, then click Combine over here on the top right. Now let's look at how to create multiple files, or what I call batch PDF creation, where you can convert multiple files into PDFs simultaneously. So click on Create Multiple PDF Files, then click on Next. A dialog box pops up where you can populate your list of all the files you wish to convert to PDF files at the same time. Click Add Files. You can add files or folders depending on where your files are located. I'm going to click on Add Folders. This is a very familiar step. Select the files. In my case, I've selected a series of Word files by pressing the Shift key and the page down key at the same time. You'll see all the files in the file name box, then click Open. The Create Multiple PDF Files dialog box appears again, and we see all the files that were selected. You can continue to add documents to this list to convert to PDF. When you're done adding, click OK. When you click OK, there are several output options, as in where you want the files to be located after conversion, and if you want to change the file names after conversion. You can decide on your preferences in the Target Folder area, where you select either the target folder as the same folder selected at the start, or select another folder on your computer. For the file naming, you can keep the original file name or add to original names. Be careful with the file naming options. Before clicking OK, decide if you want to overwrite existing files. That is, the files you had as Word files before. If you select Overwrite Existing Files, then you will only have the converted PDF file format, and the pre-existing Word files you had originally you would no longer have. Once you're clear on all the selections you want, click OK. A status bar appears to let you know the batch conversion is taking place. You can stop the conversion progress if you want at this point. Depending on what output location you selected, your converted PDF files will appear in that location. In my case, it's in a folder called Test Files. I didn't overwrite the existing Word files, so you will see both file formats appearing one after the other. Doc1 Word file followed by Doc1 PDF file, Doc2 Word file followed by Doc2 PDF file, and so on. Now we have the final option for creating multiple PDF files, which is creating a PDF portfolio. It's slightly different because we are aggregating and organizing multiple types of files into a PDF package. Click on Create a PDF Portfolio to do this, and then click Next. The Create PDF Portfolio window opens, and you choose the multiple types of files you would like to combine into one package. In my example, I've selected 4 different types of files. I have Word files, PDF files, an Excel file, and even PowerPoint. I click on the Shift key and page down key at the same time, and all the files appear in the file name bar. I then click Open. The icons for each of the files that were selected now appear in the Create PDF portfolio window, and you can continue to see the different file formats are retained. DocX, PDF on the screen that you see here, and lower down, if I could scroll down, you will see an XLS file and the PowerPoint file below. Once the transport is complete, a single portfolio with all the various files is created. You can see here on the left that a scroll bar is there that shows that this is a multiple page document or a portfolio of documents. Go ahead and file and save your new PDF portfolio of multiple files. You can create a PDF document directly from a scanner if it's connected to your computer. In my case, it isn't, but this is a simple step option and provides several settings for the type of document you've scanned and then want to create as a PDF. Let's look at how to create a PDF from a web page. Click on the option Web Page, and then you'll have the opportunity to enter the URL or web page address you want to make into a PDF file. In my demonstration, I'm using a web page from the Off to Class website. I copy the URL, then paste it into the URL box back in Adobe Acrobat Pro. I can then select how many levels of the web page or website I want, whether I want the whole website, etc. Once you're done with your settings, click Create. A status bar appears telling you how many bytes are being downloaded. Depending on the selections made prior to this step, this may be a long or a short process. Again, you can stop the process at this point if you want. Once the download is complete, you have a PDF format of your web page that would have had a bunch of other pop-ups and images, perhaps that you didn't want to interfere with your reading of the content. Adobe Acrobat Pro also creates bookmarks for the document depending on how lengthy it is. This helps a lot with navigation. This is another simple step in how to create a PDF. Creating a PDF from a blank page. Click on the blank page option, then click Create. What you get is what you asked for, a blank page. What can you do with a blank page? Edit to your heart's content by clicking on the Edit tool icon in the tool pane on the right. Once you click on the Edit tool icon, you have all the bells and whistles. The editing toolbar to the top, and the formatting tool pane to make this blank page exactly what you want it to be, all within Adobe Acrobat Pro. Now we're going to look at how to export PDFs. First step, as always, click on the Tools tab to go to the Tools view. Then click on the Export PDF icon to go to the Export PDF workspace. This is a somewhat similar looking interface to create PDF. Here we have options to export PDF files to Microsoft Word, Excel spreadsheet, Microsoft PowerPoint, an image, an HTML web page, and of course there are other formats. In this video, we will be just looking at exporting PDFs to Word and to PowerPoint. To export a PDF to Word, click the Microsoft Word option, then select the file you want to export. Select the PDF file that you would like to export, in my case the Summer 2021 Olympics PDF file, and then click Open. The selected file appears as a thumbnail of sorts, and then of course you select Export. This Save As dialog box is an important step. Before saving your file in your desired location, you can select whether you want to open the file after export. I find this a very handy option, as you may want to perform certain edits in the new file format. I check Open File after export. And then of course you save your PDF file. And because I checked Open File after export, my previous PDF file now opens as a Word file in Word. Now let's export a PDF to Microsoft PowerPoint. Select the Microsoft PowerPoint format option, then click on the file icon or the wording Select a File to select your file. The Open dialog box opens and you can go ahead and select your PDF file. Once selected, click on Open. The file appears as a thumbnail on the left. Then click Export. As with exporting to Word, there's the option to open the file after export. I check that, choose the location on my computer where I want to save the exported file. I complete the Save As process and then click Save. A status bar down here on the bottom right tells you that the PDF is being pre-processed for export to PowerPoint. Once the pre-processing is complete, the previous PDF file now opens up in PowerPoint as slides. This can be very helpful when sharing your screen with students, especially if in slideshow mode. You have just viewed how to create and export PDFs.